She was like, no, we had been potty training, and there's one time where she peed on her panty like during the day. And I took her and I hit her, and now she knows never ever to pee on her pants.
Yeah.
But I just thought, okay.
Welcome to the Mom's Mental Oasis, the show that explores maternal mental health, motherhood, and parenting. We are all about nurturing, supporting, and educating because we know that when we know better, we do better. I am your host, Madam Makodungo Beni, and if you are new to the channel, thank you so much for joining in. Subscribe. But if you've been here with us for a while, I do appreciate you still coming back to us. So today we are continuing on our previous episode where we talked about obedience, and today I'm having a guest with me. So we're going to do a continuation of it, but we're going to talk about our toddler girls. So with no further ado, I'd like to welcome my varsity sweetheart. Hi friend, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm well. Maybe you can introduce yourself to our viewers.
Okay. So where do I look? Do I need to look anyway?
No, you can look there.
Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Sibongile Zwane. I am an academic and a supporter of the podcast. And yes, thank you for having me.
Yes, you can tell them about your beautiful baby girl.
Oh yes. So I have a I have a 3-year-old. Her name is, I don't know, can we say names?
I usually say nicknames.
Okay. So I have a 3-year-old. Her nickname is so close to her real name. But yeah, so I have a 3-year-old little girl. We call her Makanza, or other Papa. I call her Papa. Yes, so obviously 3 years old, was born in 2021, very energetic, very strong-willed, very smart little girl. And yeah, that's my little girl.
And I guess now it's same, even me, I think it's very strong-willed. Like,
very strong.
You've seen it.
Yes, yeah.
And I think in the beginning when I felt pregnant, I mean, like my heart was like, I'm going to have a girl. And it was like, what if it's a boy? I'm like, I want a girl. I want a girl. And the one thing I did was that I had this thing of saying that she's an individual. My mom didn't get that. So I think for me, that was my starting point of empowering her. So I would like to know what was yours when it comes to your daughter. What did you consider for you being empowering for her?
Okay, actually I want to go back to a point. So I wanted a boy.
What?
I wanted a boy. And so when I found out she was a girl, obviously you always are thankful for a child.
Yeah.
And then a healthy child,
yeah,
no
that's
matter
true.
the sex.
Yeah, that's true.
And then when she first came, with having a girl and knowing how we were raised with my mom and my dad, all I wanted my girl to be is very independent. So independent thinker. Somebody who does not go with the wind. Right?
Yeah.
For me, that is empowering her, making sure that she has conviction in who she is and her beliefs and her values.
Yeah.
Because when she can stand on her own in that way, then I feel like, because also as a parent, I'm always reminding myself that I'm not raising a baby or a child or a toddler. I'm raising a human being who will have to go out in the world and be who they are, right?
Yeah,
but in being who they are, I want them to always know that they are deserving of beautiful things. They are worthy of beautiful things, but they also have a voice, their own voice, and conviction in who they are and their values and beliefs and systems. I think for me, that's where empowering starts.
Yeah, no, I get you. And I guess in some sort of way, we were already intentional with what we wanted with our kids. And I feel like the first thing from what we're talking about is having a voice. And I feel like in the Black community, if we're being frank, you don't really get kids who are very opinionated and, opinionated very openly. So I want to know from you, what are the things you are doing to encourage that out of her now as a toddler? Because we know, like, guys, toddlers, Lord have mercy. But How do you go about that with her now at this age? What are you instilling in her now?
Yeah. So I think it started from just her being a baby, like being able to confidently say no. Because in Black communities, when you address an elder or when you speak to an elder, you always need to be meek, for lack of a better word. So and I feel like as a Black child, we've always found it difficult to say no because it's an adult.
Yeah.
So number one, I've always encouraged her to be able to say no or yes. So be able to say what you really want. And I mean, she's a toddler, so right now it's all about practice.
Yeah.
But being able to say no, and in terms of safety, because also I'm raising a girl child, right? And a lot happens in terms of girl children and women in general. So her body, I always tell her body is hers, and you can always say no if you don't want me to touch it. If you don't want anybody else to touch it, you say no. And I mean, the one thing as a parent that we need to realize is that what I'm teaching this child to be able to do or say to another adult, she needs to first practice it with me.
I know.
So it is sometimes jarring when she's like, no, mama, I said no. And she stands on her. And, and she's using child logic. So I always need to get down to a level and try to then negotiate that way. But I want her, for me, I feel proud that at least, as much as it's in the moment, sometimes it's frustrating and I feel like unnecessary, but she's already, like you said, she's already finding her voice. She's already knows that if I say no, then whoever you are,
you can't even.
Mommy, including my mommy, then you can't.
I know.
Yeah. So
I know what you're saying. No, I know.
That's the one difficult thing about it is that they need to start with you as a parent.
I know. And even us sometimes, because we forget with ourselves, because I know I've lost a bit of my temper once in a while, but it's because I've been raised a certain way and that's all I've known. And what I'm doing with her is a learning process for me. And it gets me thinking about, the myths that we keep hearing about toddler girls and independence. I know one of them is my mom. Well, it's not a myth, it's a belief actually, that the more I'm teaching her how to, have that independence, the more I'm sort of teaching her how to be disrespectful. But I feel like she mistakes it because a lot of times we've been told that if an elder says this is how things are, you keep that way. You don't change. So my daughter, when she doesn't want something, she says no. And then it frustrates my mom so much. Because to her, and then she'll be like, you see, you're spoiling her. This is what you're doing. And
that
I'm
word,
like,
yes, that word. Yeah. Yeah, I agree because, I've also been told that I'm spoiling her, that I don't discipline her correctly.
Yeah.
Just because I want to talk. Because, okay, so example, my child, well, she's going through this whole thing where when she's upset or when I reprimand her, and then she locks herself in the bathroom. I don't know why the bathroom, and she sits on the floor and then she sulks. And then she's like, Mama! And then I have to come because if I don't come, it's a problem. Then I ask, what's wrong? She said, I'm sad. I was like, okay, but why are you sad? It's because you didn't say sorry.
Oh.
But no, this is because she did something wrong. And I was telling her, Kanya, and I didn't shout. I didn't do anything. I said, Kanya, you can't do that, Mama. You're going to get hurt or you're going to burn yourself. Oh, that's not nice. You need to speak nicely. So I'm supposed to say sorry now. So for now, because she's a toddler, I get it's a thing of her feelings get hurt. So when her feelings get hurt, you need to say sorry, which is something that we've spoken about. But now, my mom has mentioned that it needs to be, the discipline needs to be tougher. She needs to know that she can't do this. So it's a bit hard, right? And I'm softer, right?
No,
and I feel like it's in being softer, I'm allowing her one day to be able to express herself. Right now, it's not coming out, and that's another thing. We are teaching them these things and they're not coming back to us as we would like them to come out, right? Yeah. But they're getting older, and because you're instilling these things, eventually it'll come back as you want it to. They'll be able to say, okay, Mom, my feelings are hurt because I really wanted to do that, but you said it's going to hurt me. And I'm hoping in my head that's how one day it will come back to me. But I understand that it's not good for me, so I won't do it. No. I'm hoping that one day it will come back like
listen,
that.
I support that. Because every time I'm doing something, I tell myself, there's a vision in my head.
Yes. I know what you need to remind yourself.
Because like a lot of time, I know the spoiling is the most light. Oh, you're spoiling her. This is how you should be disciplined. And I feel like, yes, okay, there's a type of way you would discipline her. But currently, she's just a baby. My friend always reminds me, Nels always reminds me, like, she's just a baby too. She's learning things.
She's only been on this earth for 3 years.
And she's learning.
You have foresight of...
You have everything. You're the adult.
Exactly. You've lived life. So
you're the adult.
Yeah, exactly.
And, but I won't lie. The other days, man, I'm like, you're so lucky, man. You're so lucky I'm a changed woman.
Exactly. But also, like, because I also realized, I think also... before having kids, I used to think, and almost like a fear that I'd be too strict.
Yeah.
You know, because, and I also, like, I had parents that were strict. And, I mean, growing up, sometimes I didn't appreciate it. But in hindsight, some of the things that, some of the times that my mom said no and all of these things, I'm very grateful for. Right? But also, I feel like it could have been delivered in a different way. That's all. So I'm just trying to change the delivery because I know my parents loved me. I know my parents only try to protect me, and they've lived, so they know what's out there. But I think the approach can be different.
It's very different.
That's where we are right now.
And I think I remind myself that for every stage, discipline won't be the same.
Yeah. Oh, yes, definitely.
Because I don't think the way I'm approaching it now would be the same if she was like a 7 or 8. Because not completely, but some part of her will be able to comprehend certain situations and how to respond back to it. And I just feel like now as a toddler, it's tough because you repeat one thing 100 times. 100. Like I remember when my little man was around and I had to remind her that the baby's sleeping, and no, she didn't hear that. It went up the voice, and I'm like,
because it's about her. I think she was being annoyed that you're telling her about this other person where the world revolves around her.
And it's just, but it's now though, after consistently saying baby sleeping, shh, baby sleeping.
Now she gets it.
Yeah,
unfortunately, you have to say it a million times.
But it sounds like already, I wanted to find out a moment where she was, showcasing her assertiveness and her independence, and already gave us a little bit of a glimpse with her telling you need to say sorry. No, because my daughter today reminded me, she was sneezing. And I was deep into this K-drama. And then she's like, bless me, mama. And I was like, oh, wow, sorry, baby, bless you. And she's like, thank you, mama. And I'm like, okay. She's teaching me manners.
Exactly. So it's a manners thing because we're now using our magic words, please and thank you. And she never really had an issue with saying please and thank you. I think she's always been a polite child, but now it's something that's being actively taught. Even so, that's the thing. It's being taught actively at school in those words, right? Before it was just a thing of I would if she asked for something, I'd say please, mama, and then she would say please, and then I'd give it to her, and I'd say thank you, mama, and then she would say it, right? Yeah. So I was actually okay. She's a very polite child, but now at school they use the phrase magic words, right?
Oh,
so
okay.
The magic words are please and thank you.
Please and thank you.
Yeah, and she does it generally, and then she has her moments where she doesn't. They're like no, mama, magic words, and she does it. But then there was this other time where I asked her for something. And I just said, I didn't say it, not that I didn't say it politely. I asked for something and I didn't say please.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, magic words, mama. She reminded me, magic words, mama. I was like, oh, please, my baby. I was like, okay. Then I took it. And then, because I'm driving. And then I just went off because I had picked her up from school. Magic words, mama. I said, please. I was like, no, other magic word. I was like, thank you. It's like, good job, mama. I was like, okay.
Well done. My baby says, well done, mama.
Yeah.
Well done.
So I'm like, okay. Like that was a humbling experience, but in the best way possible.
I know. Imagine if it was like, 'cause I would think when I was her, I don't even recall how I was when I was her age, to be honest. But I can definitely recall that I was not that open-minded, like that outspoken to the point, because there's no way.
Because you're talking back to your parent.
Exactly.
That was not a thing.
That was never a thing. And now our kids are they're so bold. And I remember this one time we were at a family gathering and this child was crying, and then one of the elders was, I'll get, like, yeah. And my parents stood there like, no.
Yes.
No. And I'm like, it was like, hey. And I'm like,
that's good. Oh, that is actually very good, because she not only can stand up for herself, but stand up for other people.
Oh, she does that.
That is great.
And at times I'm like, wow, I'm amazed. And I'm like, sure. Like, am I doing this? Or she just came with that manual.
As much as we are teaching these kids we're teaching them a whole lot of things, and in our parenting, we are trying to be, I don't like this whole change of parenting thing, because but we are trying to do things differently. But what I'm realizing now is that, like I was saying earlier, my child is very strong-willed.
And they are tough.
It used to be frustrating. And so my child's very strong-willed, very confident, very outspoken, very loud, very energetic. I used to think she's an extrovert and I'm the introvert, so how are we going to do this? But I'm realizing they've already come with like a few things entrenched in them already. And my job is to make sure that, because I feel like as we grow older and as we live outside of our homes where we are growing up in, but as we get out into the world, a little bit of who we are is either suppressed or killed. And my job as a parent is to make sure that the strong-willed person is not told, because also, what's the word? Like labeling kids, because she's strong-willed, you'll call her stubborn, and then there's negative connotations attached to stubborn.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
As an energetic kid, they should be called like hopapa and vernac, which is not it. Or if she's talkative, wow, like there's all these labels that we can easily attach to kids and make them feel bad about who they are.
I know.
And for me, it's important not to. So it's a matter of, okay, she's strong-willed, she's talkative, she's energetic.
Yeah.
So how do we direct that? And how do we make sure that she keeps that throughout for the rest of her life?
Yeah.
Because those are tools inherent in her that were God-given for a reason. So I don't want her, for lack of a better term, dumbing herself down because she feels like she's too open or she talks a lot, and now she doesn't feel like she can express her thoughts. She can express her truth or experiences because the world will say, "Hi, you talk too much."
It's true.
I'm just very cognizant of that. So I don't mind a strong-willed child as much as I'm experiencing this strong-willedness for myself at first hand. But I think it's important. I mean, also because the world is such a tricky place. She needs those inherent tools.
She needs that space, actually. You creating that space for her. And this is making me think about, what are those routines that you are doing with her to continue building that confidence in her? Because I know with my baby girl, I give her choice. It's not the nicest thing to do, but I give her choice. And other times I do agree with her choices. Other times, unfortunately, I have to go the opposite way, which leads to a tantrum and a half, but I let it go. But what I do when I'm giving her choices, I'm giving her the mind of saying, okay, what would you want to have? And then she'll be like, oh no, I want this one. Okay, that's that. And then we go with that, because I'm trying to show her that she is not supposed to be limiting herself to one thing. But her mind should be able to think, okay, I like this one. I'm sure that's what she's thinking, just that she can articulate it. I like that one because it tastes nicer than this and that and that. So I would like to know, what are you doing to instill that into her?
Number one, as in choices, okay. So number one, in terms of a similar example with me, I started this whole thing of letting her choose her own outfits. And
how's that going?
It is interesting sometimes. Because now sometimes I have to tell her, okay, it's cold outside, so you need to wear the jacket. She's like, no, I don't want to wear the jacket. I want to wear the princess dress. Right? And now the princess dress will now have to go with socks and sandals. So, but I allow her because this is part of her growing up and being able to make choices for herself, no matter how small. No matter how small, this is important. And also there's consequences also to your choices.
Exactly.
So that's the one thing I wanted to notice, because as much as she'll say, okay, I want the princess dress, I want the socks and the shoes, because then she'll say, I'll wear the socks because it's cold. That is her reasoning. She's like, okay, so when we then have to go to school and she leaves, it's like, oh, it's cold. I'm like, oh, but you didn't want to wear your jacket. Now we have to go back and fetch your jacket, even though I've already packed in a jacket because...
I know.
Yeah.
Trust me. I understand.
Another thing is affirmations. I want her to know that she is beautiful, she is smart, she is kind, she is capable. So affirmations are something that we do, right? Yeah, I think those, and affirmations are the biggest thing right now for me.
I know. I like, before they go to bed, both of them, I like to kiss them and say, Mommy loves you. I love you, Mama. And I know I never said I love you a lot. I started saying it after my grandmother passed away. I never said I love you to anyone. Now I say it so much. I think people are sick of me. But I say it because I know I don't want to miss moments of that. Even when it's just, because every time I'm doing all these little things for her, I'm reminding myself that one day she'll be in a space where she's not okay. And she mustn't be scared to call me because she knows I love her no matter what. Exactly. I love you. And, which now makes me want to ask you, what is your one moment where you felt very proud of your daughter when she was showing her independence?
It's in the small moments. Like, I can't think of a moment, an immediate moment right now. But okay, but it's a very small moment.
But it's your moment.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think we were out in the mall or something, and so this man, so we out, and then we're carrying our stuff, and then she has her, like, she loves muffins, so she has a packet of muffins, and she's walking, she's all happy. And then adults, like strangers, will try to tease kids, or they'll see a cute child or whatever, and they'll try to tease her. And this guy was trying to take her, I don't know if he was trying to take it or just pretend, and she was like, no, it's mine, don't touch it. And then she went about her business. She was not scared that this is an adult that she just said no to with an attitude, and then she just walked off like, I'm very, like, you're not going to touch this thing of mine, And it's a thing of, I guess, also the adult understood that this is a child and there was no animosity behind, but I was like, actually, I hope you can grow up with that.
I never changed that.
Yeah, I hope you can grow up with that. Like, just, like, not even worried about, am I going to be embarrassing my mom?
Because we don't care.
Exactly.
They don't, I think you're right there. You see the shame part, but I feel that only comes if we are showing it to
her. Actually, I think maybe that's why she didn't care. She was just like, she just, in that moment, she reacted as herself, like completely like no inhibitions, nothing. She was like, this is mine, don't touch it. And then she went off.
I like when they do that.
And then I was like, okay. And for me, it's the cutest thing. It's the cute. So I like it when they practice it on other people, obviously.
But on us, it's
another thing. But I appreciate it. I love it. I love it because I only hope to see it when she's 5 years old, when she's 10, when she's 15 and 16, when she's 18, when she's 23. I hope to see it until throughout, because that's important, man.
I know, and I guess now it gets me to thinking about how we're doing boundaries now when we because the main balance is we want that voice to stay there, but we also need to learn how to put boundaries into that little voice of ours, especially now as toddlers, because I won't lie, when she gets too much, I just be like, hey, come get your child.
I'm okay.
Like, come get your child. Yeah. Like, my energy is just at the bottom. And then other times, I have to remind myself. It depends on how I am, because we're working moms. So it's tough out